Hey YouTube, welcome back to Universe X. This is Chris, and I am back for the next installment of Noob's Guide to Noobing. This time we're still on hunts, but we're actually going to talk about Wyvern, which I know lots of people want to talk about. It's all you want to rush to Wyvern, do this, do this. Well, we are here today. So, Wyvern drops, hello my cat. Wyvern drops a couple of just very important stats. And by a couple, I mean kind of all of them. It drops speed, crit, and effectiveness. Effectiveness being chance to hit. So, speed is a primary set. It needs 4 things, and you will find that it goes on almost everything. In PvP, not a single DPS doesn't really need speed. You almost just pretty much go speed sets and then make sure the substats match for everything. You know, if they need to hit crit damage, you need speed gear with crit and crit damage on it. You know, if they need attack, you need speed gear with attack. So speed, this is essentially pretty much the most important hunt, so to speak, pretty much. And then it drops crit, and crit's a kind of more supporting one. You only need 2 for it. But this is good because so many units in the game use 4 speed, 2 crit. It's not even funny. Like, again, so many units. And the last one is effectiveness. And if you have a debuffer, if you have somebody that has to stun, they need effectiveness. And that is, again, where we're at here. So Wyvern will be able to build so many units, and it's kind of why that if you're going to go through the process of trying to perfect a hunt, Wyvern is kind of just your boy. So into this, we got a couple things about it. Wyvern has 2 phases, shield phase and pretty much normal phase. In its normal phase, it'll, as you go up through the ranks of Wyvern, it'll hit you more and more times. The dragon will take its turn and it'll hit once, go a couple rounds, it'll hit twice, go up a couple rounds, it'll hit 3 times. And through most of the levels, you prevent it from hitting multiple times by stacking more debuffs on it. However, in Wyvern 11, when you get to Wyvern 11, he will always attack 3 times per turn. But having 3 debuffs on him will lessen the damage significantly, and that's also very important. Also in Wyvern 11, something that he will do that he will not do in the other ones is he'll decrease your combat readiness every time he attacks. But for this, Wyvern 11 also only attacks the person you have in the first slot until they die. If they die, and then he starts attacking everybody else, and then your life is over. But this means that Wyvern 1 through 10, your general team has to have a certain amount of tankiness. Wyvern 9 and 10 are kind of the hardest ones in lots of cases because you could just get to the boss and he could just attack your DPS and kill it. Just 1, 2, 3 DPS is gone, or 1, 2 DPS is gone. And that's actually really, really rough. However, in 3, as long as your DPS is on point, your tank is on point, and if your tank is not maximum Fort Knox beefcake, then your healer is able to keep up with the tank's damage, you're set. So we're going to go up to Wyvern 11, which is a little bit different, but again, the main difference between those two are that, or Wyvern 11 and everything else, is that the rest of your team needs to actually be a little bit invested in health so they just don't get destroyed by the Wyvern. Unless you're just ready to press restart every time your DPS just gets smoked randomly. So in Wyvern 11, there are a lot of good debuffs you can put on, but really any debuff works. Some work better than others. Having characters that can apply attack down will make your tank's life easier. Having characters that can apply things like, you know, decreased chance to hit, if you guys know where I'm going with this, are also going to help. But poisons, burns, they can all hurt the Wyvern effectively. You're just not going to get a lot of burns off of ice units. And on Wyvern 11, much like any other Hunts 11, you're going to get rewarded for running the strong element. In Golem, I forgot to mention in the last video, he will stun. His stun chance almost, I think it has like a 100% chance to stun a water or an ice unit. In Wyvern, your ice units are going to deal more damage. And on top of that, every time a non-ice unit takes a turn, he's going to gain combat readiness, which can spell death for your team if it's not juiced up. So we're just out here talking about these Wyvern units. The last little tidbit on his boss is that every time the Wyvern attacks, he will attempt to strip you of a buff and put back your combat readiness. So in the other Wyvern events, you could kind of work by trying to buff up your team. But shields, defense up, all those things, they'll just get smashed away by the Wyvern's attack. And then after he attacks 3 turns, his next attack is going to be, actually 4 turns, 3 turns. His next attack is going to be a shield. He cleanses himself of all buffs and puts up a shield. And that shield needs to be destroyed before the Wyvern has his next attack, or the Wyvern will attempt to one-shot your team. Now, there are some ways you can try to mitigate this, get around this, but when the Wyvern gets to his turn again, he's going to attempt to try to cleanse all buffs, so you can't just turtle up and buff up yourself, and then crap on your team. Now, certain things, like certain debuffs, like chance to miss, are going to really affect that, because if he misses with that attack, you're not getting hit by damage. It's pretty savage. So there's a lot of different things you can do here. Moving into units, we're going to do the same thing we did last time. I'm just going to really quickly go through a bunch of stuff. This one is rather, there are some really good free-to-play units that come in this that can be very, very, very helpful to what you're doing here. So we're just going to move right into that. Number 1 on that list is Terra Norgard. Dude, I can't even. Terra Norgard has a chance to decrease attack, or increase defense on his S1. And his passive, his S2 is a passive, allows you to have a higher chance of dual attack. So this dude keeps a maximum uptime on defense down, which means the Wyvern will take more damage in his normal form, the Wyvern will take more damage on his shield form. It just bridges consistency. And he's a character you've probably gotten a gajillion times just putting even free to play Skystones into bookmarks. So don't sleep on him. If you don't have a beast team already, he is the man for you. Next, we've got Alexa. Alexa's another 3-star unit that you've probably just pulled already trying to get to things you want. And she's able to attack with her first attack, and if it crits, she gains an extra attack. She can inflict poison, and poisons are, they're the best damage over time debuff in the game, because, oops, I'm sorry, that's burn. No, that's poison. I'm sorry, I'm mixing up all these things. Bleed is kind of the worst, but poison does a percentage of the boss's health. So the more health the boss has, the more damage poison does. And so it's an excellent debuff on these huge HP bosses. And her additional move, if timed correctly by the AI, or if you're doing manual, you can just do a lot of damage with that. So those are 2 3-star characters that are essential. They can be your DPSs for Wyvern, even Wyvern 11. It's wonderful. Do not sleep on those. Moving into the 4-star talent. Karen is very, very, very good. Personally, Karen carried me through Wyvern as a DPS. She is my primary DPS until my Kisei gets built the way I need her to get built. Because Kisei, even though Kisei is at 50 right now, not having her at 60 yet, my auto chances went down a little bit, and that's just alluding to what I was saying before. How even if you have the unit, sometimes the gear and the comp will mean more important things, or until you can gear that unit to fit into your comp correctly, you can have issues. But Karen is wonderful. Karen, she is a crit-based unit. Her sequential cutter, her S1, is big damage. Her Blade Art Flash can inflict defense down every 2 turns, essentially, which is with moles in it and stuff like that is great. Blade Art Thunder just crits and does more damage. It's very, very good. Her kit is straight damage with a defense break weaved in, and that's enough. Clarissa can definitely do things. You've probably pulled her before. Clarissa has a lowest chance of inflicting defense break on her S1, but it's for 2 turns, so that's pretty neat. She also can apply lots of debuffs on her S3 with just the bleeds. Now, it kind of sucks though, because her S2 becomes, well, I said a lot of when it really is only 1 bleed, but her S2 becomes dead on Wyvern because you don't kill anything, and her S2 is a passive that procs upon killing things, so let's move past that. Angelica. I know, pull Angelica, win.exe, but for real, she's a great healer, especially if you have Rod of Amaryllis. She is able to heal very, 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 very hard in this fight, and once her speed is up enough, and, you know, her defense and even a little effect resistance on the side, she's able to just sit there and tank Wyvern. You can have her and another healer, her and a Dizzy, and she's able to tank Wyvern, and that's immeasurable. She's just a wonderful unit. Now, if you don't pull a decent Frost tank or an Angelica, Crozet can be the dude you need. He's very lackluster, but he gets the job done. He's got a small percentage chance of getting an attack down on his S1, and that can be good. Now, his Mark of Protection casts a barrier over all allies, or over an ally for 2 turns, and increases defense for 2 turns when an attack causes the person to drop below 50%. If it happens to him, the boss will immediately cleanse the barrier and the defense. So it's a null factor, but it's just kind of, he's definitely a filler character. He fills a slot, and that's really kind of all he does. Now, moving past that, if you get lucky and you start pulling these 5 stars, so like I said in the other video, disclaimer, not everybody's got these. Kisei, wonderful unit. I'm loving her. Even with a little investment, she is just doing a lot of damage. I just need to, like I said, get her up to the point where she is rocking as hard as my my Karen. But her S1 literally deals more damage, 70% more damage if the target is covered by barrier. You can't get better than that. She is literally made to burst him out of his barrier phase. Now her S2 Dark Scar, it just it attacks all enemies with Scythe, but it penetrates defense by 60% if the caster is stealth. Her S3 does a lot of damage and stealths her. However, her S3 also decreases the skill cooldown by 2. And I just wanted to point out this interaction because the way Wyvern works, because he attacks 3 times, he will deal a lot of damage when he's not shielded. And then when he is shielded, he won't deal any damage until he tries to one-shot your team. So healing up in this phase is essential. If you have this on auto and your tank is not beefy enough to withstand more turns of being attacked 3 times, then you want to put her on skill off or use another character, because Nocturne will extend the amount of times the dragon gets to attack 3 times by 2. And that could just be something that your team can't sustain. Now, tanks. Tywin. Tywin is pretty darn good. Tywin can give a combat readiness and attack buff to a DPS, so during the shield phase he can really hit hard, or during any phase, anytime he gives it, he's just going to add damage onto your team. He also is able to break defense for 2 turns on his S3, which is invaluable. So when it comes to that, I mean, go ahead, shorty, go ahead. That's actually just really, 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 really good. Now you can use Crow too. I got Crow before I got Tywin, but in all honesty, Crow doesn't really do too much. He gives a defense buff that can get cleansed, and if he's at low enough health, which you don't really want to be at often, he can take like 20,000 or more away from the boss, and that's neat, but you know, it's not needed. So the next part of this is these characters are off to the side because, much like Soul Bad Guy in the other video, they are collab characters or limited banners, and if you weren't there for them, there's a chance you may never get them. But Dizzy, she is able to apply attack down and decreased chance to hit on the boss, and that's 2 out of the 3 debuffs you need to make the boss hit for less. But already attack down makes the boss hit for less. So with her in there, she is able to really neuter the boss's damage, and with the decreased chance to hit, she can make the boss's auto kill mechanic miss. And so Dizzy is a unique character in the sense that she is able to completely ease up your tank's life. Then moving on to Luna, she's just damage. Defense break on S3, mad damage. She is a DPS powerhouse for sure. So now that we are done talking about those units, we're gonna just look at the team real quick and then hop into Wyvern 11. Right now I am running Tywin, Karen, Dizzy, and Angelica. I mean, Tywin is just basically running mostly defense. He needs more health, but I've been getting better defense items than I've been getting my luck on health items. Aureus, just to take more damage when the boss occasionally gets through with his auto kill. Karen running on crit damage set. I'm going to say one more time, do not sleep on the crit damage set you get from Adventurous Path. This stuff carries. It has the strength to carry. And she's running Daydream Joker because that's the best damaging artifact on Wyvern by far. Angelica is running speed and HP with a rod on her. And Dizzy is running speed and effectiveness with speed and effectiveness with not supposed to be Abyssal Crown. Actually, I'm sorry, I was just in PvP. Etika Scepter, because every turn there's a 35% chance for her move cooldown to be reset, and that allows her to cycle her S3 over and over and over again. So let's hop right into Wyvern, and we'll get on that. Now this team is what I auto Wyvern with. However, I'm going to manual it for the sake of this video. So the first thing we're going to do here is just make sure that we don't take too much damage in this phase. We're going to decrease everybody's speed, chance to hit, as well as attack. Tickle, tickle. We're just going to stun the big guy, or attempt to at least.
I'm always ready.
Nothing really to do here. I mean, you guys, like everybody knows, these are trash pulls. Eradicate. Boop. Boop. Stuns. We'll take that one down first.
Leave it to me.
Let me know in the comments, should I just speed up the length of the video, or the speed up the video feed when I'm doing the trash run so this doesn't take up as much time? Because I could. I definitely could. Just let me know if that works better.
Do I need my sword?
Get that guy out of here. She's gonna heal up Karen. Oh, we still have a couple turns left. Save up a couple of souls.
Leave it to me.
Keep that stun on my guy. Okay, we may not be able to keep the stun on my guy. Even through that, the dual attack, no, he really, really wanted. That's super off. Okay.
I'm always ready.
No, dual attack would be kind of bad right here. That'd be kind of awesome, but nope. Just give all my dudes poison real quick. Okay, now we move on to Wyvern, and you'll see what I meant about Wyvern 11 and the damage that he puts out. So the first one's always going to be the worst because I ain't got no way to mitigate that damage. First thing we're going to do, start out. Oh, we got no debuffs on him. Like, just decrease the hit, which doesn't really help me that much right now. It split the heal. That was not cool. Well, we got some turns before he is able to go in on the shield, so we're actually just going to get some damage in. Defense break landed, which is nice. I think she's got like 50, like 40 or 50 something effectiveness. Just a nice little chunk of damage to get off. Nothing really stun here.
Do I need my sword?
This is kind of a little hairy moment. I really don't want my Taiwan taking this much damage, but it was very unfortunate that we didn't get the attack down off of Dizzy. As you can see, my Taiwan has a little bit of space to go on his gearing, because I need Dizzy to mitigate the damage in order to do this correctly. So it looks like we're going to survive very well into this phase. Angelica's going to go next and just heal Taiwan up hard. And then the next stage will actually just hit us with the shield phase. Okay. First thing that's going to happen here, we were going to try to hit defense break on that. That made me very upset. Like, I don't know what happened there. Hit up this. we're just gonna give her the increased
The strength to fight.
attack.
Victory is right in front of us.
Really lay into that. This is good because Dizzy extends effects, so we're gonna get another turn of defense break from there. Heal up Tywin real quick. And our team should just get another full turn, which is gonna be the end of the Wyvern. Oof. This is gonna actually be good. We're gonna sneak in some cheap damage right here.
Victory is right in front of us. Exterminating.
Things you can do when you're on manual, just, you know, real quick give your DPS some Gucci-ness. I really wish her S2 was up, but it's not, so I wanted to keep that defense break a little bit longer. Once you have her molded, you kind of get this cute little interaction where you can S2 into S3 into S2 and then only have one turn where you don't have heals. I like that a lot. He's still gonna have to hit me. I'm trying to think how much time we have. We can probably do this.
Victory is calling me.
I'm just like trying to think about it. Okay, well he resisted anyway, so it didn't matter. It did not matter at all. And so this is kind of the rinse, lather, and repeat. Especially when you have Dizzy, you were really able to just not take a lot of this damage. I will just get this off here right now. It would have happened by the will of the computer anyway. Not the will of the goddess, but the will of the computer. Let's see if we can get that defense break. Check. Start slamming on that. Tywin gets a little bit of turns before he can do the thing. Trigger a dual attack? Nope. We are not that lucky. Well, my patience for this is starting to get like an all-time low, so I'm about to put it on auto and just like watch with you guys. I think that's actually the move.
I'm always ready.
Real quick, just
Time to fight.
put her up here.
I'll arrest you all. Flash.
Cheat a little damage. And I'm not using Soul Burn right now, simply because like if I was autoing, I wouldn't have Soul Burn. And I think we're just gonna sit here and auto this. Put my phone down, just I mean, it pretty much don't change. Like, it really don't. Now on auto with Dizzy, every now and then you kind of get hurt when Dizzy hits with that S3, like right before the boss was gonna actually like take big deeps. And by take big deeps, I mean actually put up his shield and take no deeps. But that crap really hurts. Like now. Speak of the devil and it will appear. So she's going to debuff this man right before he cleanses himself. Now luckily, it only takes... Yes. What we're lucky here is that it only takes it takes like 3 turns for her to get her S3 back, and so Etika Scepter just needs to proc once. And she'll have it back before the boss is able to get its attack off.
With all my might.
I swear if it gets the defense break off. Okay, I was about to be a little mad. I was like, you tripping, right? So, yep, see? Etika Scepter popped once, and she's right back to where she is. I actually really need dupes of that because I really needed to go off more than once. But if I can get it up to like its max percentage, or even just like a chunk more than that, like a coin toss, I'd be happy about that. But you can see right now that this is just kind of how it... Oof. With the attack boost. Does this just end it? Yep, I just ended it. So, that is my video for Wyvern. Once again, I'd like to thank you guys for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next installment. Peace.